Hey guys, let's talk about how to start an accounting business from home. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 main steps to starting an accounting business. Sorry, I got a text message. It's very insensitive. The text message I received from a significant other. Now, specifically, okay, number 1 is going to be to understand your service offerings. So when I talk about a service offering, it's a mixture of like what service you do. A lot of people really overthink this. In the beginning, like just keep it simple. If you have accounting skill sets, we're thinking about compilations. We're thinking about if you're doing like mainly bookkeeping, column cleanups, and then monthly bookkeeping services. Okay, those are the three services that it entails. And we have other videos of like what is like within bookkeeping, like what does bookkeeping actually mean. Specifically, it's called the 3 levels of services. So beginner, intermediate, advanced, and it breaks down like what you can kind of offer and like what is the different difficulty level of those different services. Okay, so I wouldn't overthink it. Majority of the time you're gonna understand what your services are, like what based on like what the client has said is like valuable to them. Okay, so when you're on your consultation call and like you're basically asking yourself, what are you kind of looking for? The more established a business owner is, the more they understand like what they're looking for, and they will build the service offering for you. The part that you need to get good at is understanding how to price out the services, right, within that offering, right? Because it doesn't matter whether you're offering like bookkeeping or like payroll or whatever. If you underprice it, what does it matter what you said you're offering? It doesn't matter. You've underpriced it. So that means that you're working 2 times, 3 times, 4 times as hard for the same amount of money as well, or for less money. Right, so it just makes things harder. So it doesn't matter like what services individually you're offering. If everything's underpriced, it doesn't matter what you're offering, right? You might as well not even pick up the client. And like, I know that sounds crazy, like, well, Bryce, I'm just starting out, I want to get as many clients as I possibly can. Okay, your first 3 clients, yes, they can be underpriced. I don't mind if you have your first 3 clients like that. But if you're like gonna try and significantly grow your business and like make it something you do like full time, you have to get a handle on your pricing as soon as possible. Now, inside of our program, like our mentorship program, we give you pricing calculator tools as well as the strategies to understand like how to evaluate if this is the right price, how to evaluate how hard it's going to be to sell to individual, and also strategies of how to convey the value so the individual actually like wants to work with you for those services. So the second point I said was basically how likely is the other person to go for the price you're charging, right? The reason why it's important is because if you come into the consultation call, that's what we call it, like when you do your presentation to the client and you give them the price. If you are doing your presentation for someone who is very skeptical and is not really looking to buy right away, but you approach them as if they're like a really warm lead, you're going to lose the sale almost every single time. So based on how likely they are to actually accept that price, you need to go and prepare slightly differently for that consultation call and then build the value slightly differently. So if someone already knows that they want your services and they don't really care that much about price and money is no option, okay, you can do a very short and simple sales call where there's not a lot of like questions. The presentation is very short. But if someone like doesn't know why they need your help, if they're kind of on a budget, if they are really cheap, right, then you have to ask more questions to build more value, to like have a slightly longer presentation on the call to accommodate that extra distance you have to take someone in order for them to really want to pull the trigger and move forward with you, especially if you're dealing with someone who has a very high action threshold. So a very when I say action threshold, right, it's really the ability to get someone to want to work with you. It's basically like you're always asking the question. You might not ask it directly, but you're always kind of implying or trying to find basically this question: have you seen or heard enough to make a decision to move forward or to not move forward? Right? Now, the reason why it's important is because if you approach it incorrectly and the person has not seen enough, when you say your price, no matter what price you say or you charge, it's going to be too expensive for that individual, right? Even if your price is like really cheap, like some people think like, okay, if I just lower my price low enough, then everyone's going to say yes. I am firsthand. When I started my accounting and bookkeeping business back in 2015, I had stupid low prices. I still had people telling me no. Because I couldn't convey value. I didn't understand like what people actually cared about, what they thought was important. I was just kind of talking off the hip and just winging it every single time. I didn't have any process, any procedures. I couldn't really show. So when I talk about like building the value, that's the third thing we talked about, like how to build that value. There's a couple different ways, right? There is the objective value and like being able to go to the scope of work and kind of put a set of deliverables, timetables, how much work's involved, what are your labor costs, etc. to it. But there's also the intangible ability of like conveying, okay, if we do all this stuff, what is the point of doing it? Like, what are you actually going to gain out of doing this? Why is it important for you to do it, even though the price is a little bit more expensive than what you're maybe thinking or maybe what you'd want to spend, right? When you learn how to do that on a very consistent basis, then it's very, very simple to grow your business. But we had to get that part down as much as possible. Now, second thing, when starting your accounting business from home, I'm reading my notes on my phone, you have to understand marketing, okay? So we have a lot of videos on this channel. If you're watching on like our main channel, I think we have 985 videos published right now. A lot of them are on marketing, sales, and pricing. So I'm not going to go too deep into like the specific types of marketing. I'm going to talk about a direction of marketing that'll put you in the right direction to go research more of our videos. So number one, you have to understand how to utilize the internet to go and build attention. Now, you want to do marketing in a way that actually like connects to your personality. So the reason why this is very important is because a lot of people, they try and do marketing based on what they think is going to make money, but really what it's going to take to make money with marketing is something you can do consistently. And the reason why is because at every stage inside of the buying process of your ideal client, they're going to tell you no, right? So all sales is, okay, so let's take a step back. So marketing is just about really understanding like how many leads are you getting, how warm are those leads, like how likely are they to buy from you, and you're just trying to increase that as much as possible. But then the second aspect is of sales of when someone tells you no or says not right now, how do you move that relationship forward over time to help them go and make a buying decision? Right? So it's like you have to constantly be like checking that. And inside of this sales system, there's going to be times they say, okay, hey, I don't really want to talk to you. Or, hey, I don't really know if I need your service. Or they book a call and they don't show up for the call. Or they show up to the call and they say your price is too high. Or they say your price is good. They don't sign up for like the proposal. They take 2 weeks to go look at your contract or your proposal. And then they end up paying you like 3 years later. You know what I mean? So it's like, you have to do marketing in a way that allows you to be consistent while you're waiting for the results to come. If, for example, some people, they try and like post a lot of content, like, but they're like doing like stuff on like Canva and they're making these like graphics. It takes a long time just to get like one graphic out, right? Like I had one person say that she spent like 2 to 3 hours a day making posts on Canva. I was like, 2 to 3 hours a day making posts? Like that's crazy. My YouTube videos take less than that. You know what I mean? So it's like no wonder you only do this like once a month. It's just like it just takes too much time. Like that's why you're inconsistent. It's not that you don't like marketing, you don't just the stuff you're doing is just too hard for what you're trying to do. Now, if you're a person that likes writing or you like doing graphic design, okay, cool. That could like make sense, and maybe that could potentially be a marketing channel that you use. It's posting content is not like the most effective for starting an accounting business, because think about it, most of the business owners that are going to work with you and going to hire you, why are they hiring you? It's because they're overwhelmed. So they probably don't have a lot of time to be sitting there like reading a bunch of your posts on like LinkedIn. They might not even log on to LinkedIn for a week. You know what I mean? So it's like I like doing stuff where it's more conversational. I'm building a relationship with people over time because I can meet them where they're at. So if they're in between like appointments or in between jobs, they can text me back and we can have that conversation, and it can cause us to move forward over time. Okay. Another thing that's really important when it comes to like marketing is really understanding how much. It's a balance of how much time you have in your daily schedule to either do consultation calls or to do marketing. The less time that you have to do consultation calls, the more you need to warm someone up so that the call is easier and doesn't take quite as many sales consultation calls. If you have a lot more time, okay, you can afford to have a lead be a little bit colder, but just do 1 million calls. And I'm not saying like 1 million like in like an actual number. It's just I like speaking in hyperboles in some cases. That's a hyperbole. One of my hyperboles is 1 million or 100, right? When I say like 100 times or 1 million, I don't actually mean 1 million. Okay, it's just a filler phrase for me. So, but the point of that is your time is going to dictate how warm you need the leads to be. Also, your emotional resilience will dictate how warm you need the lead to be. So very similar like the amount of time. If you're a person that does not do well with rejection, and unfortunately in this business, 50% of the people that end up like working with you are going to tell you no. We had a client last week. This client like booked a call with me via one of our like marketing funnels. It was for an auto body collision shop, and I called the individual like I think like 3 or 4 times. So he missed the appointment. I called him like, hey, what's up? And he didn't answer. Hey, what's up? Left a voicemail. Hey, text message. What's going on? Where you at? My business partner calls him, and she gets a hold of him. Like, I think she like tried to get a hold of him, and then she like had to do like a voicemail. He immediately calls her back, and then within about an hour, he's like, okay, we're getting ready to go. Let's get this thing going, right? And it's just like, if that was me, I would, if I had been like, rejected, like, we would have, this person's disqualified. They missed their appointment. They aren't serious about working with us, and like I would have, kind of lost that deal because I would be like emotional. I'm not saying me, but I'm just saying like if I had not built up that emotional resilience. Instead, we just have a process where it's like, okay, if Bryce doesn't close the deal, you close the deal. If you don't close the deal, next person on the team close the deal. And it's just like, just have this culture of like, we're just trying to help each other out. We're trying to build our revenue, right? So, but it's like, being able to handle that rejection is very, very important, and most people are unable to do that. Now, if you're unable to do that and handle that rejection, that means you have to warm the prospect up more. So what I mean by that is like, have a longer conversation inside of Messenger. Let's say that you're using LinkedIn, right? I like using LinkedIn. It's a really easy social media platform to get monthly accounting, monthly bookkeeping clients. By having a conversation over like the span of 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, 45 days, by the time they get on the consultation call, they're pretty much already committed to work with you. The longer that you're talking beforehand, the shorter it needs to be because the more commitment has been built up. Like, they're already committed to here, right? If you can get them to commit here before they get on the phone call is really just a, formality. But if you talk for one day and get them on a call, okay, you have to do all that 45 days worth of texting and talking on a consultation call, which is very, very challenging to do, especially if you're doing this stuff on your own. If you have a mentorship program, like if you have like a script, like we give our students a script inside the mentorship program that handles that. So even if like they are pretty much ready to go, we're covering all of our base on that consultation call and handling all the different objections that you could possibly get. Because there's really 7 different objections you're going to get whenever you do a consultation call. So our script is all about pre-handling objections so that they don't come as like an attack to you at the end of the call. You're talking through them in a very logical, calm way, so the business owner fully understands like why each one of those objections doesn't really make sense for their situation. Next thing, so those are the biggest thing, really when starting an accounting business from home, your goal is to try and make the business as both simple as possible so that it's easier to get results. So one thing that I heard, simple to get results, and I'm writing down like one note so I don't forget it. I'm on like very low amount of sleep because I've been going out like salsa dancing this weekend, so I don't want to forget this point. So give me like 1 second because it's very, very important. Simple and stay in game. So you want to be as simple as possible. So I heard this advertisement by this one guy that was like selling some kind of random coaching program. It was like to start like some kind of business. I can't remember exactly. But the thing that stood out was he said, the more and thens that are inside of your business, the more likely you are to fail. I was like, what do you mean? So he went on, he's like, okay, so if you say, well, first I have to go build a website, and then I have to go get people to come see it, and then people have to go and like click the right link, and then they have to go and book a consultation call, and then they just show up to the consultation call, and then I have to go and call them 5 times, and then if they don't do that, and then, the more and thens that you have, the harder it is to run the business because every single thing needs to line up in order to do it. So instead, you have to shorten the number of and thens. So for us, what we always teach our students in our mentorship program is 3 things. You book calls, you close calls, and you do client work. Those are the only 3 things that you're doing in the beginning, from 0 to about 8K per month. Once you kind of get to 8K per month, you're kind of at a crossroads with like, how much work can you actually take on while you're still working your full-time job? And that's when there's a 4th thing, which is like more about like, either do you implement more automation or do you bring on like a team to kind of help you out? Right? So it's a very consistent, like short process because you want to be simple. The reason why also simplicity is important is because it allows you to do it over a long period of time. If you're like that lady who I was telling you before, who was doing like 3 hours a day on like Canvas stuff, you're not going to have any sticking power. No one wants to sit there for 3 hours making like one graphic. So you got to make it simple so it's easy for you to fit into your existing schedule. See, that's the trick no one thinks about when starting from home, because it needs to fit into your existing schedule. If let's say that you have like 10 minutes before you go and like go out to work every single day. So maybe you wake up, you get the kids ready for school, you have 10-20 minutes that you maybe do your coffee. Okay, in those 20 minutes, sip your coffee, go and either do your computer or the phone and start messaging people. Okay, you don't have to message a lot. And then maybe at your lunch break, you look and check your LinkedIn to see if people responded. You message then. Okay, let's say maybe right after you come home, maybe go and take a nap for 30 minutes, or after you're cooking dinner, or even while you're cooking dinner. Like it depends, how good of a cook you are, kind of what you're doing. But again, on your phone and texting. Then when the kids go to bed, or maybe you have young kids, maybe they go to bed at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I don't know exactly. I'm not sitting in front of you. But again, be on the messenger. Then once you start getting clients, just do all your client work during the end of the night. Or if you have like a job where you're like working from home, do your client work while you're at your work. That's what a lot of people did during COVID. Like they were just like, I'm already at home, I might as well just like do two things because my job doesn't take like the entire day to do it. It just kind of depends on you and like your situation. And like some people might be like, well, I'm a CFO, I'm a director of finance, I can't do that. We had director of finances doing that. Controllers were doing that, CFOs were doing that. It's just, if some jobs just don't really have that much stuff to do, even though it's like really high level position. So I'm not saying that's for you, but I'm just saying like it is possible if you learn how to work stuff into your schedule, and that'll allow you to be able to grow the business, because since already in your existing schedule, you don't have to change things. I don't want you to change your life. I want you to fit the business into your life. That's the secret. That's how you get something to work. Like for me, I can run both of my businesses for the next like 20 years if I really want to. Like it's just so simple. Like I have a bunch of free time in my day to be able to go and exercise and go to walk. I am able to go in and travel when I need to, because I can go and take wherever I need to. I have like different computers, different cameras, different everything I need if I want to do it. So it's like it's pretty much free. My team is all over the world. I have a person in Brazil. I have 2 people in India. I have 3 people in the Philippines. I have a kind of a graphics guy who does like any like graphics and stuff. He's in Bangladesh. One person in Pakistan that does like some light video editing as well. So it's just like all over the world. Like my business is never like sleeping, right? Because we're all in different time zones, and it's really, really interesting to kind of see that happen. But it fits into my lifestyle so perfectly. Even like I could retire if I really wanted to. Probably in the next like 2 years, I could retire and like never have to worry about like money, because of my investments. Everything's just like shooting out the right amount of money. But it's like, in my opinion, it would be stupid to do that, because just like it's so easy to run this stuff. So it's like, I don't know, I think it'd be stupid not to keep doing it, but that's the whole point. I built it like that. If you build this stuff very strategically, then growing your business becomes very straightforward, and you'll actually be able to do it for the long haul, right? Because that's where you start building real wealth. That's when like my ultimate goal for you would be like, maybe let's say that, like really, let's say in the next like 3 to 5 years, I'd want for you to be able to save an extra $500K inside of the bank, maybe put that towards investments. Some people like real estate. I prefer to do like more paper assets. Either way, as long as you get a 10% return on that money, if you have $500,000, you're getting at least a 10% return every single year. That's $50,000. That's enough to cover, at least 50% of most people's bills. So you don't really need to work that hard after a certain amount of time, right? And that's when everything gets more fun, because now you're working because it's something that you like to do, not because it's something you have to do. And that's when business is like, it's a breeze. That's kind of the point that I'm at. It's like, I don't necessarily have to do this stuff. I'm only doing stuff that I want to do. Like, I like making these YouTube videos. It's like, what is it? It's 9:42 on a Sunday. I like making these videos, so I'm like spending 15, 20 minutes. Well, this is an 18-minute long video, so I like spending this time like talking to you and just shooting out this value. Okay, I don't have to do it. Like I could probably stop YouTube and not really care that much about it. Like I would care, like of course, like I'd be like, oh, income would drop a little bit, but it's like, okay, cool. You just go and do something else. It's just something fun. I just like talking, like being able to expend my words, and it's just amazing. So hopefully, I want business to be like this for you. Now, I understand like maybe you're starting out and like maybe everything just seems overwhelming. Like you just don't know like what is like the minimum viable stuff that you need to do to get the business to your goals. If you want to know what that is, and if you want to like actually have some help growing your business, if you want to like actually have someone walk you by the hand towards your goals, go ahead and click the link inside the description to book a call to see if our mentorship program can help you out. Inside, we basically cover 4 different aspects like we talked about earlier in the video. We talk about how to actually package your service and how to price it out. We talk about how to do sales. We talk about how to do marketing. And we talk about how to structure your business in a way so it doesn't have to take all of your free time in order to grow it to 6 figures and beyond. So if that's something that you think could be helpful for you, go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below the video, to book a call with myself to see if I can help you inside of our program, okay? I'm rooting for you. I really believe in your plans. I believe in your goals. I believe in your hopes, and I believe in your dreams, okay? I want you to succeed. So I'm always here for you. If you're ready for the call, I'd love to see you on the call. If you're not quite ready, still same thing goes. I still want to help you out. So I'll see you inside of the next video. Take it easy. Talk to you soon.